Hello students, welcome to our today's lesson. Today I shall discuss the following topics from class 12 physics unit 3. So first one is torque experienced by a current loop in a uniform magnetic field. And next we shall learn what is moving coil galvanometer and what is its current sensitivity. Later, conversion of galvanometer into ammeter. So we have to know what is ammeter, what is galvanometer, what is voltmeter, and how we can convert galvanometer into ammeter and galvanometer into voltmeter. Okay, so let's start. So the first one is torque experienced by a current loop in a uniform magnetic field. So you can see the figure. So we have seen how a force is exerted on a current carrying conductor when it is placed in an external magnetic field, right? In our earlier discussion we already know about that, how a force is exerted on a current carrying conductor when it is placed in an external magnetic field. So using this fact, we will now show that a torque is exerted on a current loop placed in a magnetic field. This result will be of great practical value when we discuss the galvanometer and generator. Clear? Now this figure shows a rectangular loop where PQRS with side A and B. Clearly you can see from this figure. And what is the value for current? What is the current carrying? Is capital I in the presence of an external uniform magnetic field. So what is the value for magnetic field here? You can see the bold B is magnetic field. The normal to the plane of the loop makes an angle theta with the direction of B. That means with the direction of magnetic field. The magnetic field exerts force on each side of the rectangular loop. Now the sides PQ and RS experiences force in opposite direction. You can see from the figure PQ and RS experiences forces in opposite direction. They are equal magnitude and collinear. So the net force and torque due to this force are 0. So why it's 0? Because the value of force is same, but the direction is just opposite. So plus F1 and minus F3 is cancel out. Suppose plus F and minus F. The value is same, but the with negative sign implies the direction. So direction is opposite. That's why plus F minus F cancel out. Next, the sides SP and QR experience forces in opposite direction. They are equal in magnitude. And what is the magnitude here? I A B. The magnitude of the force is I A B. Again, the net force is 0. But since the two forces are not collinear, there is a net torque. So you have to remember, when the two forces are not collinear, then there is a net torque. And what is the magnitude of the torque? So magnitude of the torque tau is equals to force cross lever arm. Force into lever arm. Okay, now what is the value of force? Is IAB. So IAB. Now what is the value for lever arm? It's B sine theta. You can see from this figure. Now what we know, formula for area of a rectangle is length into breadth, right? Length into So from this figure, what is our length? So length is A, breadth is B. So A into B means area. So in place of AB, so IA, this is capital B. So this A and B together we can write capital A. And from this equation we can write tau is equals to I. AB means A, then 1B, IAB sin theta. Okay, and now we can introduce a new quantity. Small m is equals to IA, the magnitude of magnetic dipole moment. So m is magnetic dipole moment associated with the current loop. So vectorically, if we represent this equation vectorically, so we can write tau is equals to IA means our m. So m B sin theta. So A B sin theta means A cross B. So we can write m cross B. So tau is equals to we can write m cross B. So this is our expression for torque, and this result shows that the torque has the maximum value mb when the field is parallel to the plane of the loop. That means when theta is equals to 0, that means sin theta having the maximum value, and maximum value for tau, then mb, because theta 90 degree means sin 90 degree is 1. So 1 into mb means mb. And when the value of tau is 0, when theta is 0, so that means this result shows that torque has the maximum value mb when the field is parallel to the plane of the loop. Theta is equals to 90 degree and is 0 when the field is perpendicular to the plane of the loop. That means theta is equals to 0 degree. Clear? Okay. Next, move on our next topic, moving coil galvanometer and its current sensitivity. So to understand the working of moving coil galvanometer, first we have to know what is galvanometer. The galvanometer is a device used in the construction of both ammeter, a current measuring device, and voltmeter, a potential difference measuring device. So what is galvanometer? We can define galvanometer as galvanometer is a device used in the construction for ammeter and voltmeter. Now what is ammeter? Ammeter is a current measuring device. And what is voltmeter? Voltmeter is a potential difference measuring device. Okay. Now you can see from this figure, the principle used is that a current carrying coil suspended in a uniform magnetic field experiences a torque which balances the restoring torque produced by the twisting of the suspension spring. And what are the important components? You can see from this figure, important components of a galvanometer are shown in this figure. It consists of a coil of fine wire of many turns wound on a cylindrical soft iron core, hung from a spring SP and carrying the current I to be measured. The coil is mounted such that it is free to rotate on a pivot in a magnetic field produced by a permanent magnet. The pole pieces N and S are cylindrical in shape so that the coil rotates in a field that is everywhere radial. This radial force ensures that the deflecting torque tau is directly proportional to the current and is always constant, no matter what the position of the coil is. And the value for this torque tau is equals to NBAI. The value for tau is equals to NBAI. What is N? N is the number of turns in the coil. What is A? A is the area of the coil and B is magnetic field, I is current. Okay. As the coil rotates, the spring winds up and there develops a restoring torque proportional to the winding up of the spring, that is to the angular deflection phi of the coil. Thus, we can write tau restoring is proportional to phi. That is tau restoring is equals to K phi. This proportional symbol we can write in place of proportional one equal. Then we have to write one constant, and this constant is K, where K is the torsional constant of the spring. K is torsional constant of the spring. Now the coil comes to equilibrium when the restoring torque balances the deflecting torque due to the magnetic field. So from this equation, suppose this is our equation number 1 and this is our equation number 2. And the coil comes to equilibrium when the restoring torque, this is restoring torque, and this torque is balances the deflecting torque. So this is our deflecting torque. So from these two equation we can equate the right hand side. That means K phi is equals to NBAI. So equating 1 and 2, equating equation 1 and 2, we can write K phi is equals to NBAI. Okay, and from here we can write phi is equals to NBA by K into I. NBA, and this K we can write here, and I is this. So phi is equals to, we can write NBA K by Ki. Thus the deflection phi of the galvanometer is proportional to the current. So from this equation we can see this phi is proportional to the current I passing through it. The deflection phi is indicated on the scale by a pointer attached to the spring. You can see from the figure. Okay. Now we have to know what is the current sensitivity for galvanometer. Current sensitivity. So what is the current sensitivity? The current sensitivity of a galvanometer is defined as the deflection produced in the galvanometer when a unit current flows through it. That is, we can write current sensitivity is equals to theta by I is equals to NBA by K. Actually, this is not theta, this is suppose phi. Phi by I is equals to NBA by K. Next, we have to know voltage sensitivity. voltage sensitivity. So what is the voltage sensitivity? Voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer is defined as the deflection produced in the galvanometer per unit potential difference applied to it. And if we write voltage sensitivity as SV, we can write it as phi by V. Now phi by, what is the value for V? V is IR. So and from this equation, phi by I is equals to, we can write NBA divided by K, and here we have one R. So NBA by KR. So this is our voltage sensitivity. Okay, how we can convert a galvanometer into ammeter? So to measure the current in a circuit, an ammeter must be inserted in series in the circuit so that the current to be measured passes through it. Okay, I repeat, to measure the current in a circuit, an ammeter must be inserted in series in the circuit so that the current to be measured passes through it. A typical off-the-shelf galvanometer is usually not suitable for use as an ammeter. One of the main reasons for this is that a typical galvanometer has a resistance of about 60 ohm instead of 0 as desired ideally. Now how we can convert one galvanometer into ammeter? So we consider a galvanometer of resistance G. You can see from this figure, the resistance of the galvanometer is G and capable of carrying a maximum current Ig corresponding to its full scale deflection. Let it be desired to convert it into an ammeter of range 0 to I, where I greater than Ig. We suppose that this can be done by shunting the galvanometer with a resistance of value S. So you can see from this figure we can write one equation. We know from Ohm's law V is equals to IR, right? So here our I is Ig and resistance, in place of resistance, the resistance of the galvanometer is G. So from Ohm's law we know V is equals to IR, but here I means Ig and R means G. So we can write V is equals to Ig into G and is equals to Is into S. Similarly, the resistance and current for S resistor is Is and S. Now again from this figure we can see the total current I is divided into two parts, through galvanometer and through the resistor Is. So we can write I is equals to Ig plus Is, right? And S is equals to, we can write, so if we take these two equation, so I am writing here Is into S. ISS is equals to Ig into G. So from this equation we can write S is equals to Ig G divided by Is. Okay. Now Ig G divided by, again from this equation we can write Is is equals to I minus Ig. So in place of Is we can write I minus Ig. I minus Ig. Clear? So this is the value of S needed to increase the range of a given galvanometer from Ig to I. The ammeter just described above is able to measure a large current up to I, and it has a low resistance. And what is the value for resistance? Is Gs by G plus S. And the resistance value is Gs by G plus S. Because from the figure you can see G and S are connected parallelly connected, and we know what is the equivalent resistance for parallel connection. Okay, next, conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter. So here in this figure we consider a galvanometer of resistance capital G, capable of carrying a maximum current. Maximum current is Ig through it. Suppose we want to convert this galvanometer into a voltmeter capable of measuring a maximum voltage of V, where V greater than Ig into G. So in this situation, a high resistor Rs is placed in series with the galvanometer. The value of Rs found by noting that a current of Ig must pass through the galvanometer when the voltmeter is connected across a potential difference of V. By applying Ohm's law to this circuit, we can write V divided by Rs plus G is equals to Ig. Again, from Ohm's law we know V is equals to IR, right? So I is equals to V by R. So V by R. R means here Rs plus G. That is, from this equation we can write, so Ig, if we cross multiply, Ig into Rs plus G is equals to, we can write V. And in next line we can write Rs plus G is equals to V minus V divided by Ig. V divided by Ig. So we can write Rs is equals to V divided by Ig minus G. So this is the value of Rs that must be put in series with galvanometer in order that it may be used as a voltmeter of range 0 to V. 0 to V. Okay. So now I am sharing the notes for all this topic so that you can write from here. For today, that's all. So thank you so much for watching the video.